Cool. So yeah, so welcome to Python DeCal Monday, April 16th. Today we're going to be talking a lot about professional development. In particular, we talked about CVs last week, and everybody made some fantastic CVs. I was really proud of everybody who did it. Thank you for that. That was great. And as you have heard from last week, you have a homework 8. This is to make a website, a personal professional website. And we're going to show you a little bit of what you need to do for this website. This is very much non-coding. I mean, it can be coding if you wanted to, but for the purposes of this class, it could be as lightweight as you want it or heavyweight as you want it. I know when I first learned about it, I loved the idea of making a cool website. So I tried to be really hardcore about it and learn how to write a bunch of different languages for coding it. And I made a really ugly website the first time, and then I just went to Wix.com and I made one, and then I went to a different website, and I think I've been to 5 different website types, just because I don't like how something looks for too long. So I keep trying to change it to find a decent one, and I'm still on the search to make my website better. But regardless, as long as it has a functional purpose, that's the point. So we have some announcements. The due dates have been tweaked a little bit in your favor. So the homework 8 is still due Friday. I believe I said that on Wednesday, but this website homework is going to be due on the 16th, which is, no, wait, today's the 12th. Oh my gosh, so sorry. Today's April 12th, not the 16th. Your homework 8 is due the 16th. My apologies for anybody who's watching this asynchronously. But yeah, so your homework's going to be due this Friday on the 16th. And all you have to do is just make a website and then upload your website URL so we can go check it out. And if all things work well, we should be able to just click on it and go to your website and see what it looks like. As long as you incorporate everything that we talk about in this lecture and all the bullet points that I outlined on the homework 8 document on B courses, you should be totally fine. Yeah, so that's homework 8 is due this Friday. Check-in reports are due Monday, and you might be asking, what is that? Well, check-in reports, we make sure we do this before your final project so we can get a check to see how you guys are doing. This is not nearly as formal as the final project report or proposal. This is very much write a paragraph to explain what you've done. And this is something that everybody submits, not just your group, but every person, so that I can get a sense of who's working in the group and who's not. Hopefully it should be pretty equally spread out. And you guys should understand what's going on, both or all of you, whoever's in your group. So it'll just be a paragraph. I'll send out an announcement, I'll write a little document that'll be due on Monday. It's literally just a paragraph explaining what you've done so far so that I can get a good sense of where you're at relative to your project. Hopefully you have written some code, or you're trying to write some code and you're getting stuck maybe, and that's a good sign that you're working. I don't want to see anybody saying I haven't done anything yet. That would be really terrifying. Well, I don't say terrifying, it's a bit of a stretch, but we should get your alarms ringing because you should be working on this. This is your homework assignments combined to a final project, so make sure you do it. Then the final project presentations will be due a week after we said they were going to be due. So we said they were going to be due on the 19th, but we're pushing that a whole week back. So you actually have till the 26th and the 28th, you have until the 26th before Monday lecture to submit. But it's not really going to be a lecture, it's going to be presentations. So on the 26th, we're going to start presenting. Experience tells me that it'll probably go to the 28th. So 26th and the 28th of April will be final project presentations. I'll make a document explaining what we want to see out of you for those presentations. It will involve making slides. You don't necessarily have to do a full-on write-up of what you've done. I think that would be a little excessive, but we do want to have slides, and you will be giving a 5 to 10 minute presentation of your project that you did. So just keep that in mind. More details will come in the week or so. Yeah, so the deadlines are approaching fast. Make sure you keep up with the progress. Don't slow down, or make sure you start if you haven't. Ask for help if you need it. We are here for you. A couple of you have reached out via email, and I'm very glad you did. I did my best to answer those questions as well as I could. I hope they are helpful. And you don't just have to email me. You can email any one of us. There's 5 instructors in this course. Elon might be a little iffy because he's kind of having a lot going on this semester, but Isla, Emily, Raphael, and myself are more than happy to answer any questions you may have regarding a project. So please, please, please email us. And then I think somebody joined late, so I'm gonna paste the attendance again. Okay, cool. So let's move on. Well, actually, before we move on, is there any questions? Okay, then let's go on. So personal websites. It's a great idea to have a professional website for a few reasons, but a good website has the following things. You need a home page. What does somebody see when they first look at your website? You need a research page. This is everything about your research. I mean, this is specifically for like astrophysics, physics people that want to go to grad school, or you want to get like a job in industry. It's usually a really good idea to have experience, like an experience or a work page. In our case, it's going to be research. That's just how we roll for astronomy or physics. And then we have like an about me page usually. This is just for somebody to get a little bit more information about who you are as a person. Preferably, it shows that you're likable. Maybe you have hobbies or something you like to do. You have funny pictures or pictures of yourself. Maybe, yeah, like hobby. And then you can always add more pages. Like some people have teaching pages if they really love teaching. Some people have like photography pages if they're really into photography. Or whatever it may be. You can have like hobby pages and whatnot. But you definitely need a home page, a research page, and an about yourself page so people get to know about you. Oh, and then lastly, you need an easy way to contact you. So usually you just put like your email somewhere or a phone number. I probably would stay away from phone number, but your email should be fine, especially like your school email that you're using. It's very acceptable. So how do you make one? It sounds kind of like a daunting task to make a website, but nowadays it's not that hard. At least the ways that I'm going to show you aren't that hard. So it depends on how much time and effort you are willing to spend on this. You could do this in probably 2 hours or an hour, or you could do this in like 10 or 15 or 20. If you're like me, you've done this 27 times and you still haven't gotten a result you're happy with yet because you got like you want to make it look really, really pretty. But it's really up to you. And it's up to you how in depth you want to go. You can learn things like, you can learn languages like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that are literally coding languages designed to make pretty websites and functional websites. Or you could just use a click and drag service like Google Sites where you literally just click a picture you want to upload, put it there, and then you just write some stuff. And it's like click and drag, easy, 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 easy to do. These are your kind of like options, at least the ones that I'm familiar with. So easiest is probably going to be Google Sites or Wix. Google Sites or Wix are pretty easy to use. And then I think like and Squarespace. Google Sites, Squarespace, and Wix are probably the easiest to use. They're literally just click and drag services. WordPress is almost as easy to use as those, although I find it's a little bit more challenging. Not too much though, not really. But Google Sites and Squarespace and Wix are literally click and drag, and it's easy, and you're done like that. I think the best option for a student is the github.io. You get to make it, you get to incorporate as much coding as you really want to. They have like templates for you to use, and you can kind of edit it with a little bit of code, but nothing too crazy. Or you could just straight up start from scratch, download Adobe Dreamweaver. You have access to all the Adobe suite for free as a college student, like Photoshop, Illustrator, and stuff. And you can literally, they have a app design, it's called Dreamweaver, designed for making websites, where you start with a theme. It's all coding, and it's a little quick click and drag, but it's very much coding based. You need to learn HTML, CSS, and maybe even a little JavaScript if you want it to be like really functional. I really would shy away from this, at least for this assignment, because you only have a couple days to do it. But if you over summer are feeling super ambitious and you want to make a beautiful website like from scratch and you want to be like a CS person, then by all means you should go ahead and do that, because I feel like it's a really cool experience to brag about. But I made my site on Google Sites. That's like my most recent one. I'll probably switch to github.io though, because I've learned it's a little bit better. I just haven't had the time to like full on make a new website again. But yeah, so github.io is a really good one, and it teaches you a little bit about GitHub, which is fantastic. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday. But these are your kind of options. And usually you could like sign up and they have like tutorials on how to make websites with their website, or on their website, they have tutorials on how to make websites that you can follow along with. To talk a little bit about the contents of your website though, this should get like, you should have a homepage, and like I said before, this should give a gist of to the visitor. This should give you a gist of like who you are, what you do, like within like a couple sentences. This should be very clear. I'm an astrophysics major at UC Berkeley and I study blank, 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 blank. That's it. Maybe a little bit more if you want to be a little bit more giving on like information about yourself. Usually it should like include links to GitHub, maybe social media if you're comfortable with that. It doesn't have to, but if you're comfortable showing off your social media links, you can do that. LinkedIn, almost everybody at Berkeley has a LinkedIn. You should make one if you don't have one. Those kind of like links are really important to have. GitHub is a service that we'll talk about more on Wednesday. That's kind of like a really complicated version of Google Drive that you can use for your own purposes. It's very useful for coding specifically, but yeah, and we'll talk more about GitHub on Wednesday. It's recommended that you include a picture of yourself so that people know what you look like. I mean, this isn't required by any means, but you'll see as we go along these, like the examples of websites I have, typically, and at least in my opinion, and everybody I've talked to, having a picture of yourself, specifically if you're smiling, makes you look a lot more likable. I'm just throwing that out there right now, and it allows like an applicant or like an application board of like a summer RU or like a research program to say, oh, this is what this person looks like. If they don't look like a robot, that's great. Let me read about them, and they sound interesting. Oh, they might have a hobby in astrophotography. That's really cool. Blah, 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 blah. And it makes you seem a lot more personable. So it's a really good idea to include a picture of yourself if you are comfortable doing that. Your research page, this is the most important part of the whole website. This is kind of the purpose of the website, so you should spend a lot of time on here to make sure it looks nice. And I mean, obviously, most people in this DeCal don't have full-on research projects to talk about and put pictures on and everything. That's okay, but you want to lay down the framework so that when you do start adding on these projects in the future, you have lots of flexibility, and it's easy for you to just go copy paste. You know exactly what to do. You have it on your website, and it'll be updated and ready to go for when you go to apply for like a big research project over the summer or something like that. So the most important part is the research page. Make sure that you focus on that heavily. So it's most likely what postdocs and applicant view. Yeah, okay, I said that. It should have your curriculum vitae on it. This like curriculum vitae, we talked about that last week. You should have that slapped on your website. Somebody should be able to click a button or be able to see it on your website itself and be able to like look at your CV instantly. Like it should be very easy to find. It should be fast. It should not take very long to load. And that like it's really important that you have your CV available so somebody can just click it and look at it. Yeah, you should include highlights of what you've done. And for now, I would recommend at least just writing about your final project for this class. So it might be a good idea to start working on that, and it'll maybe get your brain flowing for when you have to do your check-in report on Monday. So maybe like write a paragraph, take a screenshot of like whatever you've done, or like if you have an animation already, probably don't, but if you did, you can do that. And when you finish the class, I encourage you to update it. And I encourage you to update it every time you do a new project. Maybe you make some good stride in your research and you have like a really cool picture to put on there. Maybe you've given a talk somewhere. It's like really completely up to you and how frequently you update this. But I'm telling you, the better, the more frequent and the more up to date it is, it's the better. It'll help you a lot. Cool. So then the About Me page, you talk about yourself a little more in depth. You don't want to like give them your whole life story necessarily unless you really want to. But this is a good way for somebody to gauge your character. Way more than they would ever be able to do just reading your essay to an RU program or whatever. Or like or if you're applying to do a research project via cold email. If they look at your website and they see that, oh, you really like helping, you like feeding the homeless and you working at these shelters and you like doing all this, it definitely like shows good character and makes you seem a lot more likable. And it could help you a lot. Not to say that everything you do outside of research is going to get you a project, but if it's extremely competitive, it might help a little bit. So that's a good thing to know. Try not to get too informal though. You don't want it to just kind of like come off as like a weird like text message about yourself. You want to make sure it's a little formal, but not too formal. Just mildly professional with a little bit of artistic freedom. That's what I would recommend. And I would not recommend putting memes all over the place. That tends to look a little unprofessional as well. I kind of learned that the hard way. I put a little meme on mine and I got some feedback and it was like, don't do that. I was like, okay. Anyway, and then extras, if you have a cool hobby, include it. A lot of people love astrophotography and they love putting pictures on there that they've taken. So that's a great example. Some people include a hobby page, more like maybe you're into music, maybe you're into theater or something and you have performances or whatever you want to put on there that people can see. Maybe you have a business that you run on the side, a little side hustle. You can always do that there. And it makes you a little bit more interesting. I mean, not saying that you have to have it, but if you could show off your hobbies or whatever, something you're passionate about, that always looks really nice. So examples might be teaching, blogs, photography, whatever you name it. And you can also include a contact page. That's not necessarily needed. Like you could just put your phone, your email somewhere on the website, but like having a specific contact me button is usually really easy for people to find your email. So now is just for the fun part. We get to look at everybody's websites and critique them a little bit. So I'm gonna take away my laser pointer. I think the first one we could start with is, we'll start with mine and then we'll move on. And none of these are necessarily better than the others, but some of them have strengths, some of them have weaknesses, and you can really explore what you like. So this particular look that I have right here, this is made on Google websites or Google sites. It's very, very much click and drag. Everything's like formatted so that it takes care of it if you're looking on a phone or like a computer, so you don't have to worry about any of that business. It's literally click and drag pictures. So I have like a welcome page. I have a little tiny synopsis of myself. I have a read more button to like if you want to read more about me. I have links to like social media and like work platforms like Github and LinkedIn. I have a research page. My research page kind of like summarizes what I do. I have like different projects I've worked on. I have my CV button. So you should be able to just click this and it pops up like your CV pretty quickly for any applicant viewer to look at. You should have like whatever projects you can write about them. So this was like my ULab project I did my sophomore year. I have like fluid pictures and stuff that I did. I think it looks really pretty. And I have like links to my project posters and movies or animations I've made. You should definitely do this with your final project if you can. Maybe include images, synopsis of what you've done. I write a little bit about the skills that I gained there, like working with Athena++, learning how to code in C++, using GitHub, stuff like that. You could definitely highlight all of those skills on your website, at least with the projects that you're doing. And as you become more advanced, you could take away certain things that aren't as relevant. Like I used to have my like physics 77 final project on here, but now that I have my own research that's a bit more advanced, I took that away because it didn't really seem very valuable to have anymore. But for right now, as a starting out undergrad, into the like exploring their research possibilities, I encourage you to put literally everything and anything you can so that looks impressive to some degree. And then like if you have like an REU program that you get into, or I had like a research project I did here, I have like a YouTube video that shows like my presentation of it. If you ever get to present it via Zoom or something, always ask to record it so that you can upload it yourself and you can have like a recorded talk of yourself giving an important talk. I think that's great. If you ever go to like AAS meetings and present your research, you can link your posters there. That's what I've done. And then I just have some pretty pictures from my research. But that's my research page. And then you have like an about me. This is some pretty young James pictures, and James with pretty colored hair, much better than it is now. And I also have a link to my CV again, but it's like a little synopsis of what I do, or about me. And then I have, for me, my hobby page is teaching. So I talk all about the teaching experience I've had working at a science museum and stuff, and like links to fundraisers I've done. And then I like to take a screenshot of everybody who's taken my class. Heads up, I will probably ask that of you guys at the end of the semester. You don't have to, but I always like to ask. So this was some DeCal students from last semester, and then this was my Astro C10. And then I have a contact me. It just has like a link to my email. So that's like this is a very cookie cutter website that I made of myself. It has a picture of me smiling. I really encourage that. Let's see. If I were, there we go. If I wanted to go here, where did it go? Oh, here it is. So if we could look at lots of other examples. In particular, we could do this one. This is a graduate student here at Berkeley. His name's Jacob Pilawa. He's really sweet, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He has like instantly a button for his CV. You can click on it and look at it. And his is a little different. He still has like categories on his website. Specifically, he has links to like different classes he's taught and the resources for them. And his is a scrollable website, so it's all on one page. It's kind of, you just scroll down and you find everything. So he has like links to his publications. That's a bit more graduate student like. Probably don't have publications yet. Probably haven't done research, but that's okay. As you become a graduate student, you have more research projects and you write more papers and stuff. This is like a link to his like resources for his classes he taught. He has some for Astro C10. He has like a whole bunch of worksheets that he's made. And then he has like a little astrophotography gallery that you can look at the pictures he's taken, and then like a contact thing. This is really sweet. I think he did this with with GitHub, I think. And he used like an HTML template to do that. So that's really nice. We can move to like more, if you want to go like really hardcore and straight up start with HTML and like write code to make your website. This is an example of what it'll probably look like. This is a graduate student here. His name is Nick Choksey. He's very, very smart. And he kind of wrote this himself. He has like a button straight for his CV that will load eventually. It's taking too long to load. It's not that important. Oh no, why is it taking so long? Hold on, give me a sec. My computer's like dying. Why is it so slow? Give me a sec. My computer is. Sorry about that. My computer is like going at 5 frames per second. Can y'all still hear me? Okay. Oh, that's why. I might cut out here in a second, so apologies. Can you still hear me? Oh, not. Can you still hear me? Okay. I'll try that now. Oh no. Okay, give me a sec. Stop sharing. That's awkward. Okay, I think it's fixed. Yeah, okay, so back to Nick's website. No, Nick Choksey's website. So you click on it, and he has a link to his CV. I'm not going to press that again because it like broke my computer. He has like his research interests. He's very minimalist. You can tell he's not a very. He has no pictures of himself. He doesn't really talk about himself. But like I guess he does have a picture of himself. But yeah, this is kind of his website. It's very bare bones, minimalist. He has a CV. He has links to his papers he's written, and that's it. Um, you can get really artsy with it. This is probably my favorite one. This is a student named UK. He just graduated. He's going to Johns Hopkins now. This is his website. He's like a photographer and a musician, and he's very advanced. So like this is this is his like beautiful website. He made this on Wix, I think. He like made a Wix site, and then like he paid for his own domain. You don't ever have to do that, but he wanted to have like his own URL like from the ComC, and he's like very aesthetically pleasing. These are pictures he's taken. You can go to his bio. You can learn about him. This is like his CV. He actually went so hard as to like make a virtual version so that it's not like a document that you open up, but it's genuinely just like embedded in the web page. He has like a contact me thing. He has a huge science section where he has like clickable branches of the projects he's done. This is very extra, like super extra, and he has like a lot going on. I don't ever expect anybody to match this. I know I couldn't. But he has like theoretical cosmology, observational cosmology, and so on. All these crazy projects he does. He has like publications list and softwares and that he's written, and he has like a photography page. It might be still under construction. No, it's yeah. This is his photography page. All the pretty pictures he's taken, and I think his music one is still under development. Yeah, but he also is like working on a music page for himself. Very a lot. I could never do all of that. He has like links to his GitHubs and stuff, but this is like probably peak Wix site building right here. If you ever want to match this, this is kind of like the golden standard I could ever achieve. And then yeah, and then everything else here is a little more subjective. A good GitHub website that was made is this one by a postdoc I work with. Her name's Ja. It's very just simple, lots of text. She has like a picture of herself and you know, just like all her accolades and research and stuff that she's done. As a postdoc, that's kind of all that matters is the research you've done. They don't really care about anything else. So that's just a nice example. And this was done on GitHub, and you really know it's GitHub if they do github.io. You could pay for your own URL, but you could just use a GitHub link. And the beauty of doing like a GitHub site as opposed to like a Google site is that when you Google your name, if it's on this website, it'll actually pop up as like the first thing, I think. So if you do like, if you search her name, you see it'll pop up on Google, which is kind of nice. That's like a big benefit to GitHub. But if you do something like search my name, because I made it with a Google site, it's not, unless I like pay for the whole thing, you won't see my actual my actual Google sites can pop up. I mean, I have other things like LinkedIn and stuff to pop up my name, but it doesn't like bring my website to the top unless I like do a bunch of paying for a specific URL to get my name. It's dumb. I think that part is dumb, but it's free and easy to. It's just a link I could send people that they can check it out. But yeah, so it really depends on how crazy you want to make your website. If you want absolute bare bones, you can do it kind of like how I did it, or like just cookie cutter or whatever. But if you want to go really aesthetic with it, you can do that too. Or if you want to be a hardcore person, you can really code it. But that is all I have for today. It was supposed to be kind of a shorter one. I'll stick around for the next 20 minutes of lecture and like ask or help anybody if they want. I guess really quick before you guys go though, I just want to show you how you can go to the websites to make them. They have tutorials and stuff, so I'm not really going to go through all the different tutorials. I think that would be kind of a waste of time. But if you want to go make a Google Sites website, go to search Google Sites, and it works just kind of like Google Drive. You can make a new one from scratch, and it's got lots of cookie cutters, and you can add and stuff like that, add new features to it. Whether it's like button, we can even start one just for fun, so you can see the kind of format. You can they have like an insert. You can take care of your pages, your themes, so on. You can pick like a theme to work on the whole website. You can add new pages. Like these will be like sub pages, so you can make one like blah blah blah, and it'll add like a new directory page that you can go to on your website. To edit, you can add a title. You can go back to insert. You can insert like images and text boxes, and it'll add lots of fun stuff that you can go ahead and type and so on. And it's very, very similar to like, this is very similar to like the Wix and the Squarespace, all that stuff that you might hear about. It's very similar to that style. GitHub.io, there's like a specific link. If you just search making a website with GitHub, you can follow there. They have like a whole tutorial guide on how to do it. What is it? How do you get started? And it shows like a whole bunch of stuff. If anybody has questions about that, I'm more than happy to help them. But yeah, and you can use like all this good stuff. But that's like a tutorial for GitHub. I don't think it would be very useful for me to go explain any of that. I think that would be really boring to people. But if you ever have questions, come to office hours. There's lots of office hours all week, and you can email us, but that's everything. Oh, did I forget to stop recording? No, I've been recording the whole time. Cool. Yeah, that's everything I have for today. You all are free to go. I'm gonna stop recording.